Okay. So today, I have so many ideas. hopefully, hopefully they come together in this nice little package for you. One of the things I've been thinking a lot about is like self-worth. I think self-worth is just really fascinating. And how it can be easy. A lot of people don't experience, and I really struggle with like feeling self-worth myself. And it's because I think that my worth is based on my behavior, my past decisions. So if I did things shitty in the past, it's like, oh, that affects your worth. But that's really not what I believe in my head. I believe that we're these like souls that come into these meat suits, and these meat suits come along with our senses, right? Like we can smell and taste and act and move and make decisions and have thoughts and have beliefs, but those are separate than the soul. And this is that Anusara invocation, where it's like talking about this, like this pure bliss inside of you that's not affected by anything, and it's always good and it's always peaceful and it's not dependent on any action we take. Like that's this idea of it's not touched. You're born with this inner light, and it just is, and it always is, and it's always worthy, and you didn't earn it and you can't lose it. So this idea that like Kim made some bad decisions in the past, or Violet, my daughter, can make bad decisions in the future. My husband, this is where I struggle the most, is with my husband. We're like, we do this thing where if I'm mad at him, I don't like saying I love you. You know, I just like to like hold that in. It's like, no, we're in a fight. I'm not going to say I love you when I hang up the phone, you know? But then I have to be like, okay, I'm mad at maybe something his meat suit did, but like I love his soul. I always love his soul, right? So I'm trying to get over that, like I'm because that's really what it is. It's me being like, I'm withholding my love from you right now because I'm mad, you know? And this unconditional love, or being able to love everyone like your neighbor or whatever, is this idea of like being able to see past like their meat suit or their Land Rover. Also a good one. It can be confusing because there's a car called Land Rover, and see the soul in them. And so that same idea with namaste, right? Like I'm bowing to that part of you that's also in part of me. And I'm having the ability to separate that we might have different opinions, or I might, you know. So that's what I've been really getting into in my own practice. And I want to open it up for you guys. And this idea as we've come as this soul and we're exploring this meat suit. And it's not like this meat suit needs to change. It's like, this is my playground. And kind of like a kid on a playground, you don't need to tell a kid like, oh, you should do the monkey bars like this. They just like do whatever they want and they have fun. The same thing with us. As I get more into like, I feel like the constructs of the way I see yoga is starting to shift a little. And I'm releasing a little bit of being told so much what to do. Like I think there's a place being told like, this is how your thigh should be, and this is how your pubis bone should be. Like all of that has a place. But I think there's also this time of like exploring, like what does my body feel like and how does it move? Something else we're gonna work more with today too is this idea of, you guys know organic energy, right? Like stretch out through your hand, actively use your muscles and stretch, and like you get a big stretch through here. There's this way to do it with gravity where it's like, I'm just going to lean, which looks like I've been so against leaning. Don't lean and collapse, you know? But it's reminding me of using like a myofascial ball, right? Like if you use a ball and roll around on it, you're using the weight of gravity in the ball or the foam roller to give your muscles and your fascia like a particular stretch from the way gravity is pushing down on you. So when you go like this and lean, it's a different form of working with the myofascia, the fascia, which is this like intelligent fabric that stretches throughout our whole body. So when we go like this, I can lean in a certain way where the pull of gravity is still giving me like a very specific point of stretch, just as if I was rolling on a foam roller. So I want us to kind of explore that idea today. It's kind of nice there's such a small group because I feel like the pressure is off. So, woo! Let's get crazy today. Okay, so coming to your yoga mat, taking an upright seated posture. Let your eyes be partway open to start with, kind of like little crescent moon slits. And just begin to settle down like you would, but with your eyes open. So you're still taking in a little bit more senses than you normally would. And see if you can take in the room without allowing your eyes to rest on any one thing. And if it does, if you notice your attention is caught with one thing that you're seeing, you just notice, oh, I'm looking at that coffee spill on the floor, and see if you can widen your vision, your awareness, so it kind of lands on everything equally. And this is said to be a much more feminine kind of meditation, this like soft eyes open. And now begin to lift up your hand and just look at your hands with kind of that same open, soft vision. Just notice the way your hand looks. The palm of your hand, the back of your hand. You know, we see the hand, but it's so much more than the hand. Use your other finger and touch it and notice the way your hand feels. So you feel the barrier of your skin and the tactile sensation. Touching the palm and the back. And stop touching it and begin to make little movements with your hand, noticing the way it feels when you move it. And then close your eyes and keep moving it and notice how it feels to move your hand. And with your eyes closed, begin to bring your hand back down to your thigh or your lap. And continue to feel your hand. Feel the skin of that hand where you were just touching. And see if you can feel the space inside the hand. Feeling the hand from the inside out. See if you can tell where the hand ends. When our eyes are open and there's so like a definite start of the hand and an end of the hand, but with the eyes closed, it can be a little bit more blurry. You might feel that the energy of your hand extends out past your skin. Let's see if you can begin to do that with your whole body. Of sensing the interior of this meat suit, this costume that we're wearing. I'm feeling from the inside out. And if your awareness gets hooked in one way where you feel distracted, just gently bring your awareness back. And if your awareness feels interested, then you can allow it to wander and be like the kid on the playground, checking out what you have to use. Begin to shift your awareness a little bit to your breath. Feeling the inside of the abdomen. You have your diaphragm that goes underneath your rib cage like an umbrella when the diaphragm is lifted. And then as you inhale, the diaphragm pulls all the way down like a jellyfish, weighting down the pelvis, pulling breath down into the lungs. And then as you exhale, the diaphragm lifts back up under the rib cage and the belly button pulls to the spine. And then trying to release the understanding, the mind that tries to understand and experience this through the eyes of wonder. Like, wow, amazing. In a moment, we're going to move our hands to our heart, but see if you can make the movement come from inside the hand. So it's this, not a repetitive movement that you just like instinctually know to do, but this like more floating movement that keeps your curiosity engaged. And feel the palms touching each other. I really love this way of looking at our whole self, because it makes it like the meat suit doesn't need to change. We're not the meat suit. The meat suits that we have to work with to carry our soul around for all these experiences that we have. So today, as we move through the practice, there's not like a wrong or a right. It's just an exploration. Yeah, let's start by chanting the Anusar invocation one time, followed with one Om. Take a full breath in. Hold the breath at the top, soften the skin, feel yourself vibrating. Exhale, and then we'll begin. Inhale. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchitananda Mortaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase. Keep your eyes closed. From the inside, bring your hands back to your thighs or your lap. Let's begin to sway a little bit. Just notice how the body wants to kind of move. And then we're going to take it into a right side stretch. So going to the right. So take your right fingertips to the floor. Stretch your left arm out, around, and over. Switch my plug. And in this side stretch, I want you to feel that active organic energy. So push down into your right fingertips, push down evenly through both sit bones. From the heart, extend out through your left fingertips and feel this active stretch. As you inhale, come back up through center. Second side, left fingertips on the floor. Use your muscles to stretch in a more static way. So you might be expanding a little bit, but it's pretty still, and actively stretching through the hips, fingertips, out through the crown of the head. Inhale, come back up through center. And then again to the right. This time we're going to do it more with the breath. So there's kind of three ways that we can stretch. One is actively, one is with the breath, and one is more passively. So coming into the position without as much active stretch through your muscles, see if you can get more stretch with your breath. As you inhale, breathe into different parts of your side, maybe the back of your left ribs, the side of your left ribs. And start to feel the stretch you can get through the breath. As you inhale, come back through center, second side, coming up and over to the left. And the breath is more subtle than the active extension. And the cool thing about the breath is it can be used and added to both the more active or the more passive stretch. Come back through center. Now again, last one, right fingertips on the floor, left arm up and over. Try this time spinning your left hand up to the sky and let the elbow bend a little bit. If you're using some of the elasticity, the tension in the body to keep yourself upright, I want you just to collapse on the floor. But see if you can more just lean, get a little bit heavy. And see if you can feel the stretch where the fascia is kind of pulling apart, and that's like where the ball would be if you were rolling. See if you can move a little bit to get the sensation of the fascia stretch to be somewhere else. I really like to take my left shoulder down a little bit to get some of the fascia line of the posterior of the back. And then stay here, but now add your breath and see if you can use your breath to help this passive stretch become even more interesting. And use the help of your right hand to kind of bounce you back up. And then do the second side. You can move the stretch a little bit. So similar to working with these like myofascial releases with something. You're allowing your curiosity to dictate like, oh, that's a more interesting place. I'm going to stay there and feel the changes that happen. And use the elastic bands in your body to kind of help bounce you back up through center. Really nice. Bring your feet out in front of you and then roll down onto your back and turn sideways. Soles of the feet on the floor, stretch your arms up above your head. And just begin to stretch. So it's like the kid on the playground that doesn't need to be told how to do it. Start moving and see how your body's kind of asking to be moved. This pendiculate is the word for it. Movement that no one needs to tell you what to do, like the cat in the sunshine. And start to come back towards stillness with the knees bent, soles of the feet on the floor and the arms reaching towards the wall behind your head. And then push into your feet and lift your hips up for bridge. And then move around a little bit in your bridge. Try dropping one hip. So let's drop the right hip slightly and push the left hip in the direction of the left knee. And then both hips lift, left hip drops, push out through the right knee. And then lift both of your hips up. Maybe sway a little bit from side to side if that feels good. And lower down. Just sit and notice. Okay, lift up again, push into your feet, lift your hips up. This time we're gonna walk the feet in a little bit. So try to kick your feet back towards your butt so you're just on your toes and your heels are closer to your butt. And then try to push your knees forward. This is the beginning of the class, so you're not as warm, but sometimes on this pose, I'll take my fingertips by my shoulders, kind of like Dhanurasana, like the big back bend. And I'll use my hands and push it towards the front of my yoga mat so that I can, or the back of my yoga mat, so I can get more of a stretch through the front of my quads. Really nice. Come on up. This time full body, or with the feet wide, windshield wiper the legs. The next time both of the knees come to the left, keep them there. You can stay here or play with pushing your right leg straight. So from your right hip, push out through the right foot and straighten it in whichever direction it goes. It'll kind of feel like an angle to the right. Notice how that changes the stretch. You can still reach through your arms. And then pull the right knee back in, windshield wiper the knees to the right. And then push out through the left foot. So you're at the inner edge of the left foot, straightening the leg, just changing up the stretch. And moving back and forth a few more times through these poses. And then eventually roll all the way over to your right. And pause and Think about all the rules that you've been told to follow, whether it's like a family member or a school or an institution or the government, or we just have so many rules. And some of the rules are there for a reason, but I think it's good to experiment with rules. And sometimes in yoga, it can be just adding more rules. And rules can keep you safe, but sometimes it's nice to mess with them. Press yourself all the way back up. Come to table. In your table, as you inhale, inflate. So use your breath to start this movement. Inflate the back of the kidneys. And let that begin to round your spine up to cat as you push through your hands and your knees. And as you exhale, let the sit bone slide back, belly to spine, heart pulls forward, cow. As you move between these two poses, see if you can feel what's happening inside, just like you sense the inside of your hand. And then let your breath carry you back, downward facing dog. In your down dog, bend your knees towards table and begin to walk your hands back towards your knees like we're going to sit on our heels. Tuck your toes and then transition to a Velocima Squat. I'm going to turn. Actually, no. And then in your Velocima Squat with your heels up, shift from one side to the other. One heel lifts, getting into your hips. Then we're going to take our hands and start to walk them behind our back. So it'll be fingertips at first until you get your hands behind your back, and then your hands will face out to the sides. Fingertips will be away from each other. Now do this. So I'm just going to walk back and come into like a reverse table. Keeping my butt fairly low, so I'm not lifting my hips up. Spread your chest out so your butt's kind of on your heels. You can walk your feet back more, and we're going to be getting into the quads. And then stretch one knee forward. Oh, the lack of mobility. And then the other knee forward. Just kind of alternating and seeing if you can change where the stretch is happening. So you can bring the knee a little bit more to the midline as you reach the knee down, or a little bit wider. Pulling the rib in or squeezing the shoulder back, just playing around. Really nice. And then walking yourself back up so you're in this little squat. And then we're going to come to a standing forward fold. Notice your forward fold, maybe bicycle out the legs or shift weight from one side to the other. Instead of this mindset of forward fold, I know what to do, I've done this before, but exploring a little bit more. And then work your hands up to the top of your thighs. And then as you inhale, lengthen your spine forward. And we're going to keep the hands here. And as you exhale, fold back down. But the hands will stay on the thighs. Inhale, breathe into the back of the kidneys and let that lift you up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, push and lift. Exhale, bow. This time, come all the way up. Push through your feet. Come all the way up and stretch. And exhale, hands come down through heart center. All right, so standing at the back of your yoga mat, push into your right foot and lift your left. Nope, let's do left foot down, right knee up. Tree pose. Hey, Mike. You can do whatever you want with your arms. This is my broken foot side, so my arms are wiggling not for fun, but for balance. Really nice. Switch sides. One of the things I try to do as a parent is notice all of the ridiculous rules that I just I just want to do because that's what my parents did to me. But then it's like, but why is this important? You know, like I'm just adding more stress. This rule doesn't really like work, you know? And then I notice all the rules I make myself follow. And it's like, but why? Like, is this a rule I need? I think it's important to question these things every once in a while. Okay, come back to center. Okay, so being creative this morning, we're gonna take a lunge forward with the right foot. So shifting the weight to your left foot, step the right foot forward into a lunge. Stretch your arms up. From your hips, push through your feet, push the right knee forward, left hip, heel back, push up through your fingertips, and then begin to add your breath. How does the movement of your breath help make this pose more alive from the inside out? Either with your hands upright, or sometimes I'll bring my hands in front of my heart, straighten the right leg, and then bend the knee over the ankle. Straighten, bend. And you can move on your own time. The next time the knee comes bent, keep it there, ground the left heel. Second warrior pose. Inhale, stretch your arms open. And then as you exhale, let your fingertips float back into the front of your heart. Fingertips touch. Let's inhale, opening. Exhale, fingers touch. Imagine that the bones could inflate like balloons and they help lift you up. And then keep the arms open, reverse warrior. Play around with your side stretch here. Maybe turn the right shoulder to the floor a little bit to change where you're stretching on the back of the right side, or turn your right shoulder up to the sky more. And then come all the way forward. We're gonna move into Ardha Chandrasana. Right fingertips come to the floor or a block. I'm gonna turn sideways so you just get a different right angle. Push down through the right foot, back through the left foot, down through the right fingertips, up through the hand, out through the crown of your head. So very active, organic energy. And then from here, we're gonna take it more into passive. So let your left hand come up over your head, kind of like you're gonna do a cartwheel. Maybe your fingers touch the floor, maybe they don't. I like them to touch just a little bit for balance. And then play with where your left foot is. So maybe take the left heel more behind your body, or the left foot up higher or lower. But imagine you're rolling around on one of your foam rollers and you're trying to find like that interesting spot to stay at. It's the same idea here. Really nice. And then square off the hips. We're going to step the left foot behind the right foot. So the pinky edges of the feet are together and the legs are crossed, with the right foot on the front, the right shin in the front, and the left shin on the back. Take a little forward fold here. Keep a little bend in the back knee to avoid the knees from hyperextending, and try to push your butt really big and up. So you get a little bit more stretchy action than normal in this forward fold. Then inhale, begin to stretch your heart forward. Bend your knees a little bit. We're gonna come all the way up with the legs crossed. And then we're gonna transition. I'm gonna pivot again so you can see me. We're gonna squat into our eagle pose. So right leg on top of left leg, right foot could lift, and then right arm under left. Notice the sensations of your body. Really nice and straighten the legs. We're gonna shift the weight to the right foot, so the foot I'm tapping. And then stretch the arms up. I like to take them, so if I'm gonna squat low, if I take my arms are in eagle pose, and then I let my arms stretch up, they'll do like this little spin, where my hands will be crossed, but my palms will be together. And then take a side stretch to the right. Nice push into your right foot. We're gonna come to standing balance. So the left knee will pull in. And then step the foot back into a little lunge and then step forward. So this is this little Tai Chi lunge series. Step the left foot out. You might not be on your mat, that's okay. Pull the right knee in and up. Step the right foot back. So making like a little U. Come forward, balance on the left foot, step wide, balance on the right foot. Step back, little lunge, step forward and balance. Nice, both feet down. Now stand and breathe and notice. When I started playing around in my practice and tried to like not follow the rules so much, it was very challenging. I had a lot of thoughts about it. So wherever you are in that process, see if you can just be the observer and just watching the reaction that the meat suit is having. Inhale, stretch your arms up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to plank. Lower down, chaturanga. These are these little side cobras. So pull the right knee up. Bring your hands, twist your spine and plant your hands, and then inhale, cobra to the right. So this is one of those, you get that extra stretch through the left side body. Exhale, come down through center, switch legs, left knee pulls up to the side, chest spins to the left, push through the hands, more weight on the outside of the right hand. Exhale, come down through center, and then inhale, cobra. Pull yourself long. Exhale, downward facing dog. So mind tries to understand, just notice, like that's what it's trying to do, and see if you can bring it to the inner experience that's going on. Then bring your knees down through table, and then we're gonna do that same thing where we're gonna walk our hands back and come into our Velocima Squat. So pushing up onto the balls of the feet, heels are lifted, knees turn out. And it's kind of like you were doing a little dance here. One heel comes down, then the other. This is a really nice way to open up the hips and release some pressure in the SI joint. And then we're gonna transition to that reverse table for the quad stretch. So the hands will come behind the back. I'm gonna pivot again so you can see the side angle. So hands come behind the back, the hands are turned out. I'm gonna walk my feet in until I'm kind of sitting on my heels. My feet are flexed, so this is bringing a lot of opening to those 72,000 energy channels at the base of the foot. You can stay here and just stretch one knee forward at a time. Or before I hurt my foot, it felt really good to take one foot up and pin the knee down and help try to like push it forward. So you can play and see if your feet like that. My feet can just barely tolerate it right now. Nice, and then push yourself back up forward, and then come up to standing Uttanasana at the back of your yoga mat. So option, you can continue to do this halfway lift with your hands on your thighs, trying to get the breath initiated from the back so you don't come up really collapsed in your back. Or you can do this where you inhale and your arms like pull up and out to the sides, like you're parachuting, and then exhale, forward fold, or you're flying, like you're a butterfly. And then exhale, belly to thigh and bow. So it's inhale, kidneys inflate, lift up, heart comes higher than your hips, exhale, bow. Nice, and then as you inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands through heart center. Really nice. Standing on your left foot, standing pigeon. Float the right leg up, cross your right ankle over your left knee. Sit your butt back. And maybe sway your butt a little bit. Try to broaden your right hip up and out. And finding that like spot for you to stretch your piriformis. Come back through center, switch sides. You guys stay in the pose. So wonder, definition, a feeling of surprise mingled with admiration caused by something beautiful, inexplicable. So that's the last word. Like that's to try to have that like wonder, like, oh wow, this meat suit, so fascinating. Okay, come up through center. Shift your weight to your right foot, step your left foot forward into your lunge. You can stretch this as a bigger lunge. Stretch your arms out. Really nice and round. Oh, either hands up or fingertips at your heart. We're going to push and straighten the front leg. And then bend the knee over your ankle. Go at your own speed. And then next time the knee comes over the ankle, keep it there. Ground the back heel. We're going to do this warrior 2 with the arms where the inhale, like from the inside out, the arms are moved. And then next time, staying in your warrior 2, tip it up and back, reverse warrior. And then from when your warrior 2, come up, look forward. Ardha Chandrasana, left fingertips come down to maybe the block or the floor. Finding your stability and then stretching out. And then begin to take it into a more passive stretch. So the right arm comes down onto your fingertips, kind of like a cartwheel. Play with moving the right foot around to get a change in the intelligent fabric that you're stretching. And use your breath, make it become more alive. Really nice, and then square yourself up. Right foot's gonna cross behind the left foot. Pinky edges of the feet together with the right leg or the left leg in front. Forward fold, little bend in the knee. And then look forward, use your hips, come all the way up. Cross the left leg over the right leg, eagle pose, left arm under right. Then straighten the legs. Shift more weight onto your left foot. Arms stretch up, little side stretch to the left. So this is like that cross leg side stretch. From the left hip, push through the left heel, getting a stretch from the right foot up through the right hand, side body. Then shift the weight into your left foot, come up, standing balance. So this is more of the meditative flow. Step the right foot wide. Hips come over to the right, press up and balance. Begin to extend the left foot back. Step back, little lunge. Step forward, balance. Step wide, shift the weight, feel the sensations of the feet as it gets more grounded. Left foot, right knee comes up. Step back, lunge. Maybe you twist slightly to the left. And then step forward. Nice back to standing. I'm going to take little, my toes aren't leaving the ground. I'm just lifting my heels up and dropping. Drop, 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 drop. And I'm trying to do that fast enough I can get a ripple all the way up to my head and all the way down to my hands. It's kind of like whipping out your bed sheets, you know, getting the crumbs out, like getting that wave to kind of go throughout the whole experience. Make it a little bit bigger, a little bit faster. You might notice that one part of your body doesn't jiggle as much, like that fabric is blocked somewhere, so the ripple is not making it through. And just watch with curiosity, and then again, take it slower and slower until it stops. Just feel inside. Okay, inhale, arms stretch up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Hands can be on thighs or you can open your arms. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to plank. Lower down, chaturanga. We'll do our 3 versions of Cobra. So twisting to the right, right knee comes up, hand plant. Inhale, lengthen and curl. Exhale through center. Inhale, left knee up, hands to the left. Push yourself up. C angle. Exhale back through center. Inhale, long Cobra. Exhale, press back, child's pose. Walk your hands in towards your knees, tuck your toes under, transition into Velocima Squat. Walk your fingertips more forward. You might even hold onto the sides of your yoga mat. So you're rooted, and then try to drag your butt back more. Maybe stick one hip at a time out. This leaning forward can get a little bit more into your adductors. Then walk yourself more upright. We're going to do a Skandasana. We're going to take our right leg out to the right. Right foot's flex, little bend in the knee. Knees trying to point up towards the ceiling. And then hinge forward. So same thing, you could hold onto your mat again and try to pull your chest a little bit forward as you stick your butt out. Then switch sides, pull the right foot in, extend the left foot out. Little bow, left knee stays a little bit bent. right? And then pull the left foot back in for Velocima Squat. And then we're gonna come into our standing forward fold at the back of the yoga mat. 3 lifts. Inhale, halfway up. You can choose what to do with your hands. Exhale, bow. See if you can get the movement to feel like it gets initiated from inside. And then come all the way up. Really nice. Hands come down through heart center. Put one hand on top of the other in front of your heart. See if you can allow yourself to have unconditional love for the light inside yourself. You love yourself because it's you, it's the self inside of this meat suit. That's who you truly are. And it's not this conditional love. If this meat suit performs well, then you'll love it. It's this love just because it is. Love without conditions. Okay, let your eyes open. Shift the weight onto your left foot. Step your right foot all the way forward. Bow forward, fingertips to the floor. Bring your left knee down for a low lunge. And then as you exhale, straighten the front leg, Ardha Hanumanasana. And as you inhale, bend the front knee over your ankle. Yeah, you might want to cushion your knee. Always forget to cue that now that I just keep my sheepskin here. It's like my permanent cushion. The next time you come forward to your low lunge, stay there. So I know both of you are you have a practice. So in this lunge, see if you can move around a little bit and listen, like to maybe how your body might be asking to move. That we skip when we go fast. One of my constructs that's deeply falling apart is this idea of not leaning the back hip forward. Before, I'd always say, like, you don't want to push your femur into your psoas, that's just leaning into it. But now I'm understanding that these fascial lines really are involved in holding us upright and keeping us moving well. And sometimes the fascia line needs to be stretched in that way. Something to maybe play with. Okay, straighten the front leg again, Ardha Hanumanasana, same thing. Listen to your body from the inside with less of your thinking mind and more of this like exploration. Kind of like if you were to get a new car and you were just like pushing random buttons, not thinking, just like, ooh, this does this and that does that. Okay, really nice. Bend your front knee over your ankle. Now we're going to turn, we're going to widen the right foot a little bit. So the right foot is widening to the side of the yoga mat. We're going to turn the right foot a little bit out. And then we're going to roll onto our outer hip a little bit. Does that make sense? And then from here, I'm going to push back. I'm going to straighten. So my back knee's on the floor still. I'm going to straighten my front leg for this like Ardha Hanumanasana, this half splits, but to the side. And then I'm going to bend my knee over my ankle for this like angled low lunge. So see if you can figure out that to make sense. And swing back and forth, sitting into the outer hip. Nice. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see. So next time you come into your like diagonal low lunge, stay there. Straighten your left leg all the way. Flex your foot so the pinky edge of your left foot's on the floor. And then as we inhale, we're going to straighten both legs and bow in. You should get a big stretch on the outside edge of the right hip. And then as you exhale, bend the front knee and come into a modified side plank with the front foot crossed in front. Inhale, straightening. Nice. Pivot your front foot forward, high runner's lunge. And then we're going to press up into Ardha Chandrasana again. So we'll start with active and then move more passive. If you'd like, you could do this in your quad stretch, so reaching back for your back foot. Actively stretching and opening. And then just leaning. I like to hold my back foot and just play with where the knee is pointing in space. I get a whole different kind of stretch sensation that can run from my thigh all the way up into my chest. Release the back foot if you have it. Let the arm come over the head again for this like falling cartwheel. Square off the hips. This part will be the same as we did before. Cross the left foot behind the right. Forward fold as you widen your hips. Let an inhale pull you all the way upright. And then sit into your eagle pose, balancing on the left foot, right arm under. Up to a standing, step your right foot, more weight onto your right foot so the legs are crossed. Left foot behind you, arms stretch up above your head. Maybe palms together, hands crossed, side stretch up and over to the right. And then pull back up, balance on the right foot. So in this little moving out, I like to do my hands in those same ways. I feel just like so butterfly-esque. So when I open the legs, I let the arms float out. And when I bring them together, the hands float in. So you go to the side and then you go back to your lunge. About you, my brain loves knowing I'm doing something right. So for this, there is no right. I'll do an extra round. And the next time the feet come together at the front, bring them together, stand and feel. Bring your awareness back to your right hand. How does your right hand feel? What does inside the hand feel like? Without words, just sensing. Where's the border of your hand end? Maybe make little movements with your fingers. Maybe take that awareness of the inside of your hand up your arms and down your chest and your legs and your head. You're checking out how the whole body is feeling inside. And where does the space inside of you end? Feel the vastness of it. The space that we are is so much bigger than any words or our understanding of it is. That's why I think the rules don't stack up, because it's so much bigger than we can understand. Inhale, arms up to the sky. Last series. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bow, step back, plank. Lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, right knee up, twist to the right. Cobra, exhale through center. Inhale, twist to the left knee up. Cobra, maybe gazing over the left shoulder. Exhale back through center. Inhale, Cobra. Stay here for a few extra breaths. Strong legs, push up through your toes, drag your hands back, open up the cave of your heart. Maybe shimmy a little bit, drunken cobra, pulling your hip from one side to the other. And then keep the pull in your cobra as you lower down. So as you bend your elbows, you keep pulling, 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 pulling until you come down. And then the hand over hand rest. Really nice. Push your hands under your shoulders, press back towards table, and then tuck your toes, Velocima. Let's do left foot first this time. Extend your left foot out to the side for Skandasana. This time, instead of folding forward from our hips, take a turn. So your hands are squaring your left leg. Right hand reaches across the body and hold somewhere on the outside edge of the left leg. Explore here. Does it feel better to actively reach? Does it feel better to let the spine lean some way to get a stretch on the fascia? Then come back up through center. Switch your legs. Left foot in, right leg out, Skandasana, twisting to the right, bow. Nice, coming back up to your Velocima, right foot pulls in. Standing forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Feel yourself inflate, exhale, and surrender. Let your next inhale take you all the way up. Exhale, hands through heart center. Standing on your right foot, step your left foot forward. Normally have to do like an extra step. Fingers come down to the floor, high runner's lunge. And then moving between your low lunge, back knee on the floor, and straightening the front leg, front foot flexed. Coming into the front low lunge, and let yourself stay in. Move. And then let the front leg straighten. Do the same in your half Hanuman. Come forward to your lunge again. We're going to do that diagonal lunge. So the left foot will widen, left toes will turn out. Right foot will kind of kickstand a little bit to the right. And then you'll lunge towards the left knee. I feel like my clothes are just so baggy, you can't see me. Can't wait till we can be in person and see more easily. And then straighten the front leg as you kind of sit back on your right heel and the front leg straightens. And next time the knee bends, keep it there. And the spins to the side so you can see me. Straighten your right leg, Right pinky toe edge on the floor. Left foot is crossed over the body with the toes facing up to the side. So this is a version of side plank. Let me just show you it first. This is a version of side plank. I say that this is supposed to be easier than the feet stack. I always think this one's pretty hard. So we're going to be going between here, but you can lower it down and straightening the legs. And your front leg might not straighten. Make your way back to high runner's lunge on the front foot, and then press up on the left foot, Ardha Chandrasana. We'll be going for the quad. And then letting it be more passive, letting yourself hang a little bit. You twist in ways you normally wouldn't. The great thing about being passive, once you know this, is like you still will naturally help protect your knee and your foot. You'll be able to get in some of this other fascia work. Bring your right fingertips to the floor if you're still holding your foot. Square off, take the right foot behind you. Cross leg forward fold. You may roll your head or your shoulders if that would feel delicious. Then push through your feet, come all the way up. Last eagle pose of the day, or at least this class. Don't know what your plans are for the rest of the day. Left leg on top, left arm under. Shift your weight to your left foot, straighten your right leg, extend your arms up over your head, side stretch. Just pull it together. Lunge, moving meditation. I experiment going really slow. Keep coming back to this quote from Rumi, only part of this quote, and it says, beyond the ideas of wrongdoing or right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. Just beginning to make your way back. When your feet come together, no rush, you'll get there. Come into your stand. Really nice, and do that bounce again. All of these, when you get the bounce to your whole body, it shows that that ripple can go through the fabric of your meat suit, that intelligent fabric, like whipping a bed sheet, and the wave goes all the way through the fabric. But if you had like a box or a book on the bed sheet, you couldn't whip it the same because there's like an area of held tension. So this stretching is trying to work out those kinks by kind of whipping the bed sheet. Come into stillness. Now we're going to move into these side stretches. They'll have a little, so bend your knees a little bit. The knees come forward so the heels are really light. The right hand will start to reach down towards like the back of the right calf. Left arm will come up, left palm to the sky, elbow kind of bent. And then see if from this little bounce, you can bounce and pull the left elbow up. So you come up kind of from the bounce, and then bend the knees. And from the little bounce of the leg, pull yourself up. So going back and forth. Took me a little bit to feel this like way you can come up using the intention of your body. When you feel like you're balanced on both sides, come to standing, eyes closed. This is a version of the Vipassana meditation we've been doing where you're being mindful of the tactile experiences. Okay, inhale, stretch your arms up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stretch the heart forward. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to plank. Lower down, chaturanga. Right knee up, hands plant to the right, push up. We'll stay here for a few rounds of breath. And as you exhale, come down through center. Left knee pulls up, hands spin to the left, press up. Down through center. Inhale, Cobra. Let your inhales inflate the back of your kidneys, and your exhales pull you longer. Really nice. Push back through table, sit up on your knees. Let's tuck your toes actually. So goddess pose, sitting on your knees with your toes tucked. So let's tuck the toes up first, untuck the toes up first. So you're staying on the top of your feet. Okay, now let your eyes open, tuck your toes. We're gonna bring the right fingertips to the floor. Keep the butt still on the heel, stretch the left arm over. See if you can use that elastic pull, pushing into your right hand and the spring of the elastic and pull you back up. And then left fingertip down. You can experiment with the top arm, hand facing down or up. All right, the next time you come over to the right side, we're gonna let when you're gonna push into the right hand, you're gonna let your hips lift. My left knee normally naturally comes up off of the floor. But push down through the right hand and come back through center. Push down through the left hand, left knee, right knee probably lifts. Okay, last one. We're gonna add something onto this last one. So as you come over onto the right hand, the left knee lifting, you're gonna extend the left leg out to the left, foot on the floor facing the front of the room for a modified side plank. We'll do one on each side. All right, bring the knee in, pull yourself up. Side plank, left hand down, right foot out. Really nice, and then come to a seat. I'll lay you down on your back in a moment. Let's just sit. Hopefully feeling like your inner world, this inner experience of you feels a little bit bigger. It feels lighter, like the weight of your past decisions can't touch that precious light inside of yourself, your victories and your failures. You can stay upright for seated meditation. If you want, you could do a seated twist, or feel free to lay on your back for Shavasana if you want to do a little supine twist before you lay all the way down. That's fine as well. Bringing your awareness back to the present if it wandered. Just keeping your mindful presence really vast. Begin to make little moves with your hand, just noticing again how the hand feels when it moves. Being so interested, softly interested with no judgment. Allowing all the toes and the fingers to move. And eventually stretching the arms over your head and stretching or moving in whatever way calls to you. And eventually making your way up to seated. When you get up to seated, we'll do a super brief meditation. I want you to think of someone you really love. Maybe thinking about, I feel like kids are great because even when kids are like, I'd always tell my kids I loved them, even if I'm really mad at them, So you can love their soul inside of the meat suit. And can you allow that same love for them to transfer onto you, recognizing that your worth, your love, your value, that doesn't come from these exterior things. It's this inner state of being. that's always worthy. And it's just this switch in the mind of conditional love to unconditional love. Bring your hands up to your heart. Thank yourself for showing up for your practice. There's a lot of other things you could have done this morning, and I'm really grateful you guys got to show up and we got to share this time together. Namaste.
The light in me bows to the light in you.